Meghan puts a protective arm around Harry on her first outing as the Duchess of Sussex when the newlyweds joined Charles to celebrate his 70th birthday at Buckingham Palace. Meghan Markle made her first outing as the Duchess of Sussex today as the newlyweds arrived at Prince Charles's 70th birthday party at Buckingham Palace. The honeymoon is over for Prince Harry and Meghan, with the new Duke of Sussex giving a warm and witty speech at the garden party in honor of his father Prince Charles. The Duchess of Sussex was given a warm welcome into the family, with Prince Harry explicitly referring to the garden party as a family celebration during his speech. Harry and Meghan enjoyed only a brief private getaway following their wedding on Saturday, delaying their full honeymoon to honor the prince, with talks of a mini-moon in Ireland in June or July. But their newlywed energy was on full display as she rubbed her hand up and down her husband's back as they made their way out. The Duchess of Sussex, who will be referred to as Her Royal Highness, HRH, for the first time in public, wore a white dress by Goat and a hat by Philip Tracy, switching up her signature messy bun for a chic updo. Meghan's nerves at her first public outing were quickly offset by a light-hearted moment when a bumblebee flew into Prince Harry's ear during his speech, sending her into a fit of giggles. Harry, who was midway through the speech at Buckingham Palace in London, suddenly lost his place and said laughing, to say "PHFFFF, that bee really got me." Charles looked slightly bemused and she led across the laughing Duchess of Cornwall to explain to him what had happened. Ironically, Harry had just praised his father's lifelong determination to protect species under threat. Harry said today, "We are here today to reflect on and to celebrate my father's dedicated support to all of you and the work that you do. But first, I would like us to take a moment to remember all those affected by the tragic events at the Manchester Arena a year ago. We are fortunate to have over 250 representatives of the emergency services here today. It is right that we take a moment to recognize the amazing work they do every day, and how each member of our blue light services rise to meet the challenge of tragic events such as the attack a year ago." We are also joined by Youth United Cadets. Their organization also provided triage support to the medical crews on the attack. So, on behalf of my family, and everyone here, I would like to say thank you to the emergency services and all those who supported the injured and affected. My brother William would be here today, were he not attending a service in Manchester to honor their victims, their families, the emergency services and the survivors this afternoon. Our thoughts are with those who lost loved ones and those still dealing with the experiences of that night. It really is amazing to see so many of you here today for this family celebration. I say family, because this is a chance for us to honor to Prince of Wales's work over the last 40+ years, with all of his charities, patronages and military associations, and, as you all know, my father views all of your organizations like an extended family. Centering his speech on the work of his father, Harry made the speech feel very personal, referencing his early relationship with his father. He said, "So, Pa, while I know that you've asked that today not be about you, you must forgive me if I don't listen to you, much like when I was younger, and instead, I ask everyone here to say a huge thank you to you, for your incredible work over nearly 50 years." After finishing the speech, father and son kissed on both cheeks, before posing for a photograph with charity leaders. When Meghan embarked on meeting charity representatives, she cleverly extended her hand to shake before most had a chance to bow. "I knew I was going to curtsy but she shook my hand," said Diana Langson, from 2nd Battalion Irish Regiment of Canada. "They were both so friendly and so kind and genuine when they spoke. We offered them congratulations on the wedding and they just said thank you. They're probably tired of talking about it. It has been a phenomenal day, and the opportunity to meet them all is overwhelming." Sophie Rogers, 26, gave the Duchess what appears to be her first gift as Her Royal Highness, a handmade crystal necklace from her own studio, High Vibe Designs. Ms. Rogers had received a grant from the Prince's Trust 2 years ago, going on to start her own successful business. "Oh how sweet, thank you," said the Duchess. "I was just admiring your necklace, it's beautiful." Corporal Gregory Gilbert, 2nd Battalion, Irish Regiment of Canada, said meeting Harry and Meghan was wonderful after he and his colleagues flew over especially for the party. 2nd Lieutenant Reid Killen said, "It felt like talking to my youngest son, The Duke reminds me very much of him. He's always joking around and Harry has the same sense of humor." His wife Janine Killen said, "I always thought the royals were from far away, but they are very down to earth. They can meet anybody anywhere and have the right words to say." Major Kirk Langdon said, "It was excellent meeting the Duke and Duchess. It was everything I thought it would be." He added, "We all came over from Canada. Tens of us were asked to come out and celebrate. We will definitely be going to Windsor and all the other sites." The garden party saw more than 6,000 people, all from the charities and military associations most closely linked with the prince, descend on the grounds of Buckingham Palace for music, speeches, and, of course, a customary cup of tea and cucumber sandwich. It is likely be a strange experience for the new Duchess, not just because she will never have seen anything like it. For the first time, she will be addressed as Her Royal Highness, HRH, in public and people will be expected to curtsy to her and call her ma'am. Asked whether Meghan would be insisting on royal protocol being enforced, Kensington Palace declined to comment. The Duchess of Cornwall was also attending today's garden party at her husband's side, as he was hailed for his lifetime of work dedicated to the charity sector. Prince William was not present as he was in Manchester marking the first anniversary of last year's terror attack, while the Duchess of Cambridge is on maternity leave. Charles will actually turn 70 on November 14th. With this the first public celebration of the milestone. He is expected to have a private party for family and friends closer to the day. The attendance of the new Duke and Duchess at the party reflects both the shared interests of father and son over much of their charity work, and the growing bond between Meghan, 36, and her new family. The Duchess, who asked her father-in-law to accompany up part of the aisle for the St. George's Chapel service, is said to have met him frequently in private and found they had a great deal of common ground, particularly in terms of their charitable interests. She was so touched by his chivalry towards her mother, Doria Ragland, during the wedding, where he was seen to reach out his hand to her in the chapel and offer his arm as they walked down the stairs, that she publicly thanked him in a speech later in the day. The prince and his wife also invited Miss Ragland, 61, to tea shortly after she touched down in London last Wednesday. Harry, too, has offered an increasingly public insight into his relationship with his father this year, beginning with an interview on the Today program when he acted as guest editor, and continuing with a joint appearance at a conservation conference earlier this year. At the wedding on Saturday, the groom was seen to say "Thank you, Pa," as his father walked Meghan to the altar, after her own father, Thomas Markle, pulled out at the last minute. The prince and his new bride also worked closely with Charles on the choice of music for their big day. It was actually Harry's father who had the idea to use the phenomenally successful gospel choir. Garden parties have been a fixture at Buckingham Palace since Queen Victoria's time and now allow the Queen and other members of the royal family to recognize and reward public service. Once inside a garden party, around 27,000 cups of tea are served. 20,000 sandwiches and 20,000 slices of cakes are consumed. Today's the Prince of Wales' 70th birthday patronage celebration will see the royal family joined by members of the public from 386 of the Prince of Wales' patronages and 20 of his military affiliations. Perhaps mindful of overshadowing Charles, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex posed for a few photographs and spoke to a handful of people before making a quiet exit. A number of guests from the emergency services, police, fire, ambulance, mountain rescue, and RNLI, with 100 cadets from Youth United helping out on the day. One cadet who was present at the Manchester Arena during the bombing last year will also be there, on the anniversary of the attack. Guests will be treated to musical performances from the Band of the Welsh Guards, the mixed-voice Borough Welsh Choir, the Caldecott Male Voice Choir, the National Youth Pipe and Onda Gospel Choir. For more than 40 years, Charles has been a leader in identifying need and setting up and driving forward charities to meet it. He carries out hundreds of engagements every year in support of them and, collectively, the Prince of Wales's charities raise more than £120 million annually to support his charitable work in the UK and overseas. Charles is also patron or president of over 420 charities, the oldest patronage being the Bath Preservation Trust, which the Prince has been patron of since 1973. He began his career in the armed services in March 1971, when he started a 4-month attachment with the RAF at Cranwell, Lincolnshire. The prince had already gained his private pilot's license, and flew himself to Cranwell on 8 March, in a twin-engined Bassett of the Queen's flight, to start advanced training to qualify as a jet pilot. Flight Lieutenant the Prince of Wales was awarded his RAF wings at RAF Cranwell on 20th of August 1971. Over the years the prince has since gained affiliations with 20 army regiments and formations, 3 naval appointments, and 3 Air Force relationships. These links are with organizations from both the UK Armed Services and a number of Commonwealth countries. Official photos, an evening reception at Frogmore House and just a one-day break at Windsor Castle before diving straight into royal duties, a whirlwind few days for Harry and Meghan. Most newlyweds look forward to their honeymoon almost as much as they do their actual wedding day, with a relaxing few days spent on the beach without the stress of making sure the big day goes off without a hitch. But Prince Harry and Meghan Markle aren't most newlyweds, and have spent their past few days diving straight into royal duties. After posing for official photos to be shared with millions around the world, the couple enjoyed an evening reception at Frogmore House attended by some of their closest friends and family. They then took a one-day break at Windsor Castle before driving back to their flat at Kensington Palace yesterday. Today the pair dived straight into their royal duties after a whirlwind few days, with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex making their first married outing at Prince Charles's garden party.